you want to do a podcast? We make a darn good team. It always goes without a hitch. Let's head to Twitch and go start up the stream. Do you want to do a podcast? It's the Nerd Glasses Podcast. Let's start now. Hi everyone and welcome to the Nerd Glasses Podcast.
Come? Alright, I'll do my own bit for myself.
Oh wait, no silence.
We're doing it. Get off the road.
Hey, Sus.
Hello.
Typically during the beginning of the program, we start with a joke, and I had one, and I was going to tell a time travel joke, but
Okay.
you didn't think it was funny.
Dang. Well,
Bam!
You need to tell future or past me, whichever one you visited, that they shouldn't be so harsh on you when you're trying your best.
All right, there's our clip for the stream for me against Boater's jokes. I feel bad, but I mean mug that poor man. Welcome, everyone, to the Nerd Glasses Podcast. This week, we are joined to my left, not this week by Boater himself and myself, Dave. We are joined by Twitch.tv's own Sustainna. Thank you so much for joining, dude.
Thank you for having me.
This is awesome. Boater in chat saying hello. Just hold back from throwing things. But there's no one to stop me now.
I don't have room for it.
Where's conspiracy baseball when I want to throw him at the computer? So, typically at the start of Nerd Glasses, we'd be talking about Twitch bans and new ones or recent ones. But we had some news going on in the gaming world, which is that Twitch and Dr. Disrespect have come to an agreement, and I quote, neither side has admitted to any fault. Period. Does this mean Dr. Disrespect is going to be back on Twitch? No! But it does mean that we'll stop seeing headlines of them fighting each other. I'm really excited that starting next week again, we can return to Boater having a ban of somebody where we can usually throw out the old adage of play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
Well, Dave, you know what they say. It's always disappointing to see a series finally come to an end. Now you have to move on to something else.
Thankfully, it can join the echelons of us never talking about Death Stranding, Bobby Kotick being an enormous ass munch, and so many other stories, which we will get to later in the program. We do have 3 games that I've picked out that are coming out in the next 7 days, and in fact, it was such a molten day today for gaming that I have not 1, not 2, but 3 that are coming out just today on many systems, things like that. And so, Sus, we'll be right back to you in just a minute. We are going to boot up a Nerd Division. First, we're going to be seeing a trailer for something that many of you have already seen before. You may have played this game. You may have put a lot of money in. You may have rage quit about it. We're, of course, talking about Grand Theft Auto 5. That's right, you're not getting GTA 6, but you are able to finally play Grand Theft Auto 5 on a PlayStation 5 and an Xbox Series X with way better load times, noticeably built up, much better graphics, at least in my opinion, of looking at the different plays and things like that. And then a couple little hints and winks at the PlayStation 5 as opposed to the 4, Xbox Series X as opposed to the Xbox One, and a lot of fun. I did do a little bit of investigative journalism. If you have an account on Xbox One or PlayStation 4 and you want to upgrade, fret ye not. It's a simple process. You bing, bang, boom, and suddenly you're on your next-gen system. No loss of money, no bases, no cars gone. GTA 5. We're never going to get 6 at this point, but GTA 5, huh? The next Skyrim. I'm really hoping Production question, Steve. Which button do I press to put Sus back on the screen? I don't have a Skype button. Wait, yes I do.
It's a wonderful sunny evening in 1995.
I really feel like them trying to explain that one. We can't hear Sus in the Nerd Vision scenes. Go!
Oh no!
All right, so
Ah.
for Pete's Dragon. All right, so we'll know that, and we'll just make sure to breeze through the next two games. That coming out Series X PS5 as usual. We also have The Cruel King and the Great Hero, a beat-em-up side-scroller game a la Castle Crashers with some turn-based RPG elements.
Ooh.
This game coming from Nippon Ichi Software, which I said that out loud, and I know you didn't react. I know everyone in chat didn't react. But Amp Slayer, wherever he is, definitely just turned over in his sleep, because those are the people that publish the Trials games in the United States.
They do a lot of really good series. They do
Yes.
Trails, Disgaea.
Yes, they do a lot of good work, and this game looks like it's going to be something fun. It is not only published by them, but it is designed by them. And this one coming in the Switch and PlayStation 4 today. And then, you know what? Nerd Vision will skip those trailers for now.
Echo. Uh-oh.
Steve's on it. It's one of the best things about having a production person. Someone complains in chat, I don't have to get up from a chair.
The opinions will be louder than the American ones. Finally, the takeover will assimilate and complete.
Good luck.
Hey, you laugh now, but you'll be thanking us once you have them sweet Coffee Crisp chocolate bars in your stores. What about them O. Henrys?
Thank you, Steve, for fixing. The last game I am super excited about. It's from 13 AM Games and Way Forward. It's right now coming out for the Series X, the 4, 5, the Switch, and on Steam. It's called Dawn of the Monsters. That's right, baby. Another game that's basically a Godzilla game, but it's not a Godzilla game, and I am in for it. You can send down the proper Smarties, says Boder in chat.
The superior M&M.
Exactly. Should be good for Nerd Vision 2, which is good because we have some state of play news, because I saw some trailers, got excited, yelled at a television, and my wife was not very pleased.
Ooh.
So much of this going on, but firstly, I want to ask, Sus, how are you these days?
I am doing well. How about yourself?
Wonderful, wonderful. I know recently I've been really stuck in playing some League of Legends with a lot of folks out there, having a lot of fun with that. Of course, buried neck deep in Elden Ring, and by neck deep I mean my head's just decapitated and it's rolling on the ground. And that Pokemon and the Mario Kart League is going to be starting up tomorrow, and I am super hyped about that.
And it's, you know what? I wonder how the tracks are going to work, because are we going to be able to like do little fun sessions with the new tracks on the side? Does only the host need those? How is that going to work?
I read that everybody does need to have them,
but
but reading online and having it actually in person, because Nintendo has been known to sorry, they don't give things for free. But we
sales, what are those?
So Sus, what have you been watching recently or gaming on? What's been
honestly,
filling your plate?
I honestly don't watch much TV, honestly. I don't think I have since I was maybe 12 or 13 when we actually used the living room. I actually been getting back into to World of Warcraft lately. That game is it's in an interesting spot. The expansion's pretty they've made better even in their worst times. But I mean, like, hey, I took a 2-year break. I felt really nostalgic because the YouTube algorithm is preying on my weak mind. So I resubbed, started raiding in Boder's Sisters Guild. So
Rafe Wolf, someone that has also guest hosted here on the Nerd Glasses, and thank you to her for that help, and continued help in the future.
When a new raid came out 3 weeks ago. Yeah, this is week 3 weeks ago, and progression's going well. It's been fun.
Yes.
It's the raids are at least still fun.
Yes. Demon Dragon in chat saying having so much fun playing LOL, especially now that Boater came back to it. Hell yes. And Boater, while I was sick this weekend, I played and completed Halo 2 on Saturday and
Ooh.
Halo 3 plus ODST on Sunday. Um, this, like so many things, Sus, I don't know if you heard, but Boater's getting back into competitive Halo here at Insane
Oh.
Games TV. He's throwing down the gauntlet. Tom, Dan, Nico, Jackson, Mike. Boater's bringing on all comers, and I will gladly stand in the background and go, "Stop! Stop! He's already dead."
Does your Halo 5 multiplayer gameplay come with a Red Bull sponsorship?
I mean, if you shout it loud enough, they'll eventually just sponsor anything. In fact, I'm pretty sure if we here at Nerd Glasses just start saying that we're sponsored by Monster Energy and one of those many like Bet Rivers or things like that, I bet they'll partner with us. I bet. Like,
Just manifest a sponsorship.
I've been trying on the weekend Wednesday to manifest a Burger King sponsorship, but they're not impressed when they see someone on stream actually eating their food. Doesn't do well.
Doesn't give him a good rep.
Borderbug, I said no such thing. I know I'll get the floor wiped with me by Tom. Boater being so modest in chat when he's not here, but he really is. Just read between the lines on that chat when he said, "I said no such thing." Yes, he did.
See,
I
Boater,
know.
you just do the strategy that I played in dodgeball in elementary school, where I held 3 dodgeballs in front of me, hidden in the corner, and just waited. And except in your case, you replaced that with rocket launchers.
Exactly. Dude Icarus in chat, Red Bull sponsor me a car, please. Speaking of which, I look forward to being able to break the news at some point here on Insane Games TV that we've sponsored a NASCAR car because Danny NASCAR here on Insane Games TV. Tune in, enjoy it. Maybe throw around the bald command if you're subscribed. Just saying. We're so happy to be sharing our gaming experiences with everyone out there and so many things. Steve, what's one game you've been playing recently? Really? Brilliant Diamond.
Oh,
A lot of that. Nightwing. Hello, this is Burger King. We are calling to tell you that we are not interested, but you might want to try McDonald's.
has Cynthia's rematch put you in your place yet, or are you waiting for the levels to get nerfed? That never will.
He's only 7 badges deep.
Oh, you poor sweet child. If only you knew. Oh, just wait till the rematch where she's in her 90s with full IVs, EVs, and items ready to say hello once more.
Full disclosure, I didn't know that Steve at the booth has the audio for this. So off before we started streaming, Sus said something and Steve responded and I was like, wow, is the headset really that loud that he can like didn't get right over my head. Borderbug saying, Steve, not NASCAR, but I think they'll sponsor you an F1 car with a big old spoiler. I mean, let's be totally honest. There's now a vacuum of teams because everybody and their grandmother is doing what I believe, and the opinions expressed on the program are mine and not necessarily that of Insane Games TV or Sustainna's. But I do believe that a lot of the companies that are choosing to not support Russia right now and Russian thematic things are doing, pretty good. So they've got space for an Insane Games TV F1 car. Just saying, you got rid of that whole team. I could probably be qualified for a Haas F1 ride. So, speaking of Russia, its doings, goings-ons, and things like that, a list of companies for you, Sus, that I'm going to see if you know what's been in common of all of them. Microsoft, Sony, Activision Blizzard, Ubisoft, Epic, Insane Games TV's little brother, Netflix, Amazon Games, EA, CD Projekt Red, Koei Tecmo, and Sega.
Are they the ones that actually sent donations to Ukraine?
Bango! That's exactly what they recently have all been doing.
You can also add Pokemon Company sent, I believe, 100,000. I think it was Square a couple days ago that sent 500,000.
Hell yes. I'm excited because I know that Activision Blizzard just recently put out a memo to everybody um, stating that they are going to, and I quote, I want to take a moment to recognize the incredible effort of our teams to support the Ukrainian people. The company is matching employee donations 2-to-1 to organizations providing immediately relief in the region. Together, we have raised over 300,000 in this effort. Next week, we plan to add additional charities to choose from for consideration. We'll also raise the company matching from $1,000 to $10,000.
You know,
That
I'm actually really surprised because speaking of Activision Blizzard doing donations, usually during events like this, they put on some sort of big sale for World of Warcraft where you can buy pet and mount bundles and all the proceeds go towards, X cause for Y amount. But I'm surprised they actually did not do one this time. Maybe that will change.
I'm going to armchair quarterback this. A term, by the way, I'm using a sports term on nerd glasses, so that just meaning I'm screaming at the TV. I don't know, but he should have thrown it. God damn it. But I have a feeling because of the buyout, they're probably trying to make sure everything looks as profitable as possible in the last couple of days going out, just to make sure everything still looks slick as it can be.
Right.
Demon Dragon saying Riot's B skin line is fundraising for Ukraine, I think. Killer. If anybody else knows of efforts being raised, things like that, especially to do with gaming, let us know. But my personal Demons and Nightmares at Koei Tecmo just recently released that they have donated $500,000 as a company to relief efforts for the refugees specifically of the Ukraine, things like that. As we talked about last week on the program, all of this is we all think it's well and good because it's aligned with what we think politically and all these things. But I mean, if you're standing on the other side of this particular conflict, shut up. Like, sorry. None of us under any circumstance believe that Russian citizens, people with Russian descent, things like that, are any bit liable to be held for Vladimir Putin's douchebaggery. That's me saying that. But, that's just one guy. All of that falling into, and I'm very curious to see what you think about this, Sus. Advance Wars 1 and 2 Reboot Camp is indefinitely delayed, said Nintendo. They have no plans on when it's actually going to be coming out. This coming literally less than a month off of the last time they delayed it.
Okay,
It was
so here's the funniest part. Actually, I think it was weeks before it was supposed to announce that they said, "Oh yeah, no, we're delaying it." Advanced Wars, I think we're just convinced is cursed at this point because every time it gets delayed for whatever reason, the last thing happened with the same thing happened last time. I think like what was it 10 years ago for something very similar, where like within a month some sort of military battle broke out during the time that it would have released. It was for I can see them not releasing the game, but I think it might be cursed.
Have you played Advance Wars?
I have not, but one of my friends growing up loves it, and essentially it's Fire Emblem, but with like modern day like technology with like tanks, vehicles, weaponry.
Oh my god!
Which I'm all for. I'm all for. I love Fire Emblem. I love haha funny shoot game.
I'm dying for this game to come out because I'm going to drag Boater on a stream because he hasn't played it either, and I absolutely want to show people this game because mechanically it's so much fun. The units, the visions. However, in this very specific case, the fact that the main antagonist and protagonist of Advance Wars. One's a very American-looking guy. One's a European-looking female. One's like a generic, another big dude. But the antagonist is indefinitely a Russian guy. And
Low hanging fruit.
the buildings have the typical Slavic architecture and things like that, and all these things. So it's one of those like oof, duh, like.
Valkyria Chronicles is actually kind of like that, except Valkyria Chronicles is more like the Steam Age.
True.
From what I understand.
Boater in chat, even cultural GSC game world renowned Stalker 2's subtle to Heart of Chernobyl to change the to Heart of Chernobyl to reflect the Ukrainian language spelling rather than the Russian derivative spelling, which more power to him. And I don't know about everyone else, but I'm definitely going to be buying myself at least 1 or 2 copies of that game in showing support of that game because that company.
It's such an interesting game, Dave. I think you'll really enjoy it if you play through it.
Oh my god, the previews for that got me so hyped.
The original games were good. They still hold up well to this day, so I think you'll enjoy a good remaster / remake.
There's so much going on in the world with all of these things, and it's nice that we get to talk about it. It's nice that we get to be and commentate on it and things like that. But please know, folks, that if any of the topics that we talk about on these programs, or if anything in life is hitting you a little bit hard, please make sure to seek help for yourself. Talk to informed people. If you see something on a social media platform that that really upsets you or things like that, talk about it to people. Get it out. Also, make sure before you click share on some things that you vet the things that you are sharing, because this is an era of misinformation. We talked about how last week we did hit on the topic of many news platforms around the world were using footage from a couple different video games as, oh, here's live footage of this happening on the front or things like that. Yeah, it was yeek.
That's
and
a
some
from
journalists and news media things have had that happen to them again and recently. So be careful, be cautious, be safe, but be well. You know what also gets my blood boiling there, Sus?
What gets your blood boiling, Dave?
Last week, 2 weeks ago, I talked about a particular game, and
Okay.
it looked adorable. It looked like so much fun. It looked like an alternative to Mario Kart, and I was really excited. I was so hopeful. My friends at Square Enix, who have personally never done me wrong, but seemingly don't ever do their developers right, and yet some investigative journalism on your part seems to have unearthed some unfortunate telling on Chocobo GP.
Let's talk about that. So last week, not even a week ago, the game released to something interesting. So I believe I actually gave our editor some video footage, if they're able to roll that in the background as we talk about the subject, because it'll be very topical, as you'll see. So Chocobo Racing GP released on, I believe, the 10th or 11th. One of the two. And see, look, adorable little racer game, but very flashy. Now, if you look at this is very flashy. This has no meaning, by the way. This has no meaning to the gameplay whatsoever. And I actually kind of find it similar to how casino machines try to make things very flashy to encourage you to play more, which is quite funny, seeing as when people launched it on the day of release, the first thing I saw when I booted the game was, welcome to the game, have 800 mithril currency. Followed by another message, welcome to the game, like week 1, have 500 mithril currency. And a 200 maintenance thank you gift of 200 mithril currency. Then you look at the front page, and there is a battle pass. And while you're looking at the battle pass, okay, look, I love anime and stuff like that, so I'm total weeb trash. So of course you would think I would. No, it's ear screeching. The menu music was awful, but you can replace it for a small fee of 200 mithril.
What?
Per music track. And okay, so you're watching the gameplay here. And okay, so the monetization is really bad, because if you buy the free version, you can't spend any of that mithril except for music tracks, unless you buy the full game. By the way, $50. $59.99 Canadian or $49.99 American, I believe. For, well, buying content. And here's the big hitter. Okay, so the monetization is the main thing we're going to scrutinize. I was actually originally going to submit this as a video before Boater called in sick. But then I actually played the game, and I no longer wanted to actually capture CTR nitro-fueled footage to compare to because it felt unfair. Because CTR was actually an enjoyable game. I played this game for about 20 minutes, and it has some of the most slippery controls. The tutorial was one of the most counterintuitive tutorials I've ever witnessed. And the items, as you can see, the tracks are very, very short, very uninspired. The items will hit you. There is not really an easy way to counter any of the items. Some of them just make little sense in your usage. Have you ever played CTR, Dave?
Yes.
Are you aware of the TNT crates where you have to jump to remove them from you?
Yeah.
You have to hop a few times. So they have a mechanic that is the death spell from the Final Fantasy series. I jumped rapidly the entire duration. It still didn't get rid of it. And the knockdown time, if you do get hit by an item, is at least twice as long as Mario Kart. And with how fast and short these tracks are, you just instantly lose the game. So on top of that, oh, by the way, about the microtransactions, they were not present in any review or pre-release copies or builds of the game.
Of course they weren't.
They were not present at all in any pre-release version. So if you read any review from, say, IGN, well, I haven't checked, but I'm saying IGN because they typically do it before release. Any review that was posted a few days before the embargo or release will say that there are no microtransactions. Well, so, unfortunate to say, they shoved them in day one. So the game, honestly, personal opinion, the gameplay does not even merit playing on its own, free version. It had so much potential and charm, but it's just very upsetting because, okay, so the worst part is Square is not shy of using their IPs to get simple cash grabs. If you go on the Play Store and look at Final Fantasy, dime a dozen mobile games that they abandoned months after launch. So, and fun fact, this game was actually in development for the 3DS and announced in 2010, but it never saw the light of day due to quality concerns. Well, I definitely have a concern about the quality now.
What? This is so.
I uninstalled it after 20 minutes of installing it on my Switch because it was physically painful to play. Not for the microtransactions, but for the gameplay itself.
And this is a Square game.
This is Square Enix.
Square
for
Enix.
a full-priced $50 game.
Nightwing, but you pay to get better quality, says Nightwing.
Well, you have the full multiplayer experience on the free version, and that's what I played. The only story mode you get is the tutorial that doesn't, by the way, explain how any of the items work or function, or how any of the traps of the level design works.
I'm getting shades of other games. Why is it, Steve, when I have a guest host on, when Boater's out, they introduce a game that's so painful that it literally, like, I could just lay down now. I could just lay down and die. If it came out, says Boater, the sad chocobo, first of all, just sums it all up, says Boater. But he also says, if it came out as a $5 mobile game plus microtransactions, fine. But this bad gameplay and a cash grab for a full price game is inexcusable.
See, okay, so like let's flash back for a minute, Dave. It's summer of 2019.
Okay.
Beanox and Toys for Bob are on a streak of some of the best remakes / remasters we have ever seen in the Crash Twin Sanity trilogy. Or not Twin Sanity, Crash Insane trilogy.
Yes.
And the Spyro trilogy, which I personally speedrun on my channel. And then Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled released to stellar reviews. And even now, at launch, I would consider it the best mascot racer I have ever played. The quality, the content, everything was phenomenal. There was so much of it, so much charm, so much detail. They promised no microtransactions before launch as well. Then a surprise update in August where they suddenly cut the acquisition of currencies rate by about a fifth of what it used to be, and then they added microtransactions. But here's the difference between that and then. At least Crash Team Racing, you could get all the content for free, and it was still fun. There was no content locked behind purchases.
And
And
this,
and when that happened, Dave, despite that, when the microtransactions came out, the game died. After the Spyro Cup ended, game died.
fair. People, as they should, will vote with their participation in games.
Mhm.
So good job to the gaming community for collectively going, oh, I'm sorry, you did what now? We're out. Pack it in. We're going back to Mario Kart.
But I feel like this is another instance of a game. It feels like this game was rushed because there was so much hype behind it when they showed it off. They didn't show it much, but when they did, it was a highlight. I feel like this is an instance of a game being rushed by top brass and being filled with microtransactions because they were worried it wouldn't be as financially stable as they were hoping for, which feels bad for the developers. The same thing happened with Beanox for CTR. They didn't want anything to do with microtransactions, but Activision had the final say. And this is happening really often. And it's very sad to see. Because I'm sure if Chocobo Racing didn't have that, again, because people were still finding enjoyment. I personally hated the gameplay, but there are still people saying the gameplay was fun. That's good, because that means the game did something for someone. But if you have this really stinky stigma of lying to your consumers' faces and then filling it like this, essentially turning it into a full-price mobile game, people who would have enjoyed it are not going to play it for good reason.
Ugh.
CTR, I would still, hey, if you find CTR on sale, I'd still say pick it up because the game is enjoyable. Mario Kart 8, look at Mario Kart 8. We're getting 48 brand new tracks within the next year, staggered release, of course, for 50 cents a track. And that's only the stuff they've announced. I'm sure they're going to fit more stuff in there as a surprise.
So Waluigi for Smash, is that what they're gonna stick
Waluigi
in
for
there?
Smash? No. Release Funky Kong, you cowards. I've been waiting since Mario Kart Wii. Release him. I don't care if you made him a god mode for Donkey Kong and he's too powerful. You made Ridley, who was too big. Sakurai, listen to us, please. I know you can't understand what I'm saying, but feel my vibes. Release him. We need the Banana Slamma crew in all of its entirety.
Dude Icarus in chat saying they have a bundle of Crash Insane, CTR, and Crash 4 that goes on sale for $60 sometimes.
Activision stigma aside, the team that worked on it loved their games.
Yes.
Highly recommend.
Yeah, highly recommend the Insane trilogy and even Crash 4 if you liked the original Crash games. Those are so good. It's nice to see that even though what's something before we get too off of it? What's something that could be done to redeem this game, to fix this game at this point?
Fix this game?
Yeah.
Increase the rate, because there's no way they can safely completely remove the microtransactions because it's so like stitched into the formula now. I would say remove the microtransactions entirely. If not, make it a bundle that you can only buy once a month to limit people who have those addictive tendencies. Increase the rate at which you receive mithril, and allow free game holders to be able to buy the battle pass with their mithril, because free users cannot buy it. Also, just give us more music, please. I'm sorry, but the music is so repetitive, even when it's not hurting my ears physically.
All I could
Release
picture
it.
was that scene from A Clockwork Orange where the game starts and just that rah 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 and just your eyes are being held up and you're like, my God!
My God! I'd rather
Make
play
it
Garfield Kart.
stop.
Unironically, I would rather get friends together and play Garfield Kart. At least I would have fun.
Oh God. Oh. You know, if Garfield were to be here right now, he would also choose to join us here on Cruise Days on Insane Games TV. vote with your follow buttons. Make sure to hit that button down below. Ring the bell so you get notified every time we go live. Make sure to swing it over to twitch.tv/Sustainna.
Well,
As
thank you, Dave.
always, please. We've got a couple more topics and a couple more things to chit-chat about. But, wow, what a cacophony of awful. Like... And I will gladly eat my words because I said, and I quote, "This game seems like a lot of fun, and if you're into kart racers, it seems like it could be a good time." Shut up, Past Dave. It's awful.
I mean, hey, everyone's free to try it and build their own opinions, but don't sacrifice the space on your Switch if you don't have it.
When you put a freemium game on and then put a $60 price tag on, excuse me.
Oh, and
$49.99?
I forgot one major point.
Oh?
I forgot a really major point that I should discuss.
Perhaps a redeemable quality. Perhaps.
I am so sorry, Dave. I wish it were. Mithril has an expiry date.
I'm sorry. For those of us just tuning in, Mithril is the currency that you pay money for. Like in real life, people ducats. And it does what now?
It expires after 5 months. So if you were saving up for a certain character that was, say, like, leaked or data mined, but hasn't been released yet, sorry for your luck.
So not only is this game full chock to the gills with user interface issues, money laundering, problems with microtransactions, an awful soundtrack, gameplay that doesn't support the player, and terrible characters, because if I can't play as Tifa, nobody will.
Butterbug chimed in and said only the free mithril or the free mithril expires and the paid stuff doesn't. That's still a major problem for freemium users. That's still a major problem.
It just feels bad all across the board, and it's very worrying that Square might like this idea too much. Yonder time and ago, Square announced that they were going to be doing the Hitman series, but they were going to be releasing it in episodes. And I bought the deluxest, biggest edition I possibly could of that. And it came with an agent statue and a tie that I wear all the time and all these great things because I thought Square won't do us dirty. Square will make a great game. And they did. Hitman 1, 2, and 3, by the way, on the next-gen systems. Play it. Buy it. Test it out for yourself. This is really, really concerning that a company that tends to trend when they make one game that has an open world plot, suddenly most of the other games and other franchises they have an open world-esque game. When their games get a little bit dark or a little bit gritty, suddenly the rest of their franchises start to get a little darker, a little grittier. Now, it's not to say that we're all going to blind the fact that there were microtransactions in previous Square Enix games, but this is egregious. What do we verdict this for? Like what?
The mobile division should probably stay on phones.
Are we saying 2 month ban from Twitch for microtransactions and for the
I'd say 2 months ban and a formal apology on a chalkboard.
The man has spoken. Verdict is rendered. Chocobo GP, next docket on the list.
Nightwing says, "Eat the game into the sea."
You know what? Next, you know what? In sometime in the future, we will yeet it into the Lake George body of water. Okay.
Oh no, Dave. It should take about 2 months to surface back, right? It'll serve its sentence.
Dun 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 dun. Kids on the beach, get away from it! Get away!
If it's not shouting for Wilson by the time it gets back, we just need to throw it again.
Pollution is far too good for that game.
At least
It's
they're
okay.
We'll give it a floaty.
At least they're not taking your $10 and running away with it. That's fair. That's fair, Boner.
That's fair.
I was gonna go apoplectic if you paid for content and then they put an expiry date on it.
Dave, you should go and rent like a little fountain in the middle of the mall, like in front of your store. And if you sentence a game to like be adrift at sea, you just have it hanging by a thread, like the game case hanging by a thread or something over the water for the duration. Just have a list at the front of the store. Okay, GP is unbanned. We can bring it back into the store. Don't know where I'll put it, but it's got a bargain bin, right?
The amount of games, by the way, the amount of copies of Madden, for example, that insane
Oh
games
no!
here that we'll get like a trade-in and 6 of them will be the same game, and like all of us will stop, we'll pick up the case, we'll look at it, and we'll just be like, I know what to do with this.
We find the defendant guilty. 2 months in the Madden pit.
Unfortunately, Madden 95, you've activated my trap card. Dark hole. Yeet.
The great pirate ship diorama.
All these great ideas. We'll call it the USS Sustainna if we manage to get the budget for the boat.
We don't want them here. I don't know. Send them to Brazil or something.
Oh God.
Come on, if you send it here, Dave, it's gonna feel like you ran around your yard a few times in a dark van, so people wouldn't follow you just to put it in your treehouse.
'Tis very true. 'Tis very true. Also, I have a feeling that on its travels from here to the Great White North, as you live there, it would definitely get treated too nicely for it deserving. Oh,
Yeah,
hey,
we'd actually recycle it.
We in America are not so fortunate with our things. Just throw it in the trash, Carl.
I'm the trash man. I play Madden.
You know, while we're on the topic of trash, I'm hard reminded of a game that perpetually just swims in the trash and does background and these things. We're of course talking about what's that smell? That's right, it's Ubisoft. They've made some news recently. But in this case, it's a weird week because 2017 was a big year for them. They did a lot of things. PlayStation 4 was new, the Xbox One was kicking around, and they made a game called For Honor. Did you ever play it?
Oh, I think everyone here's heard of For Honor.
I really liked it. Just was not too much of a fan of playing it online. The skill was not at a place where a casual gamer, could get into it.
Oh no, you found someone with a spear, didn't you?
Almost immediately, too, which was
weird.
That
explains that. Explains that. I haven't even played the game, and I know how bad that is.
It's real bad. If you're playing For Honor, by the way, and it's free on Game Pass, and it's definitely like $1 on PlayStation Network at this point. If you see someone with a spear, even at this point in this late junction,
better
hope you're playing
defenses and reflexes.
Best you have some multiplayer going on and be able to swarm that person. But it's not 2017 anymore. We've moved on. We've had not a lot of major world events happen since then. But as of March 17th, an update's coming to For Honor. And not a small update. Not a, hey, we're adding more skins, we're adding in events, seasons, things like that. No, they're adding cross-platform to For Honor. PC, Xbox, and PlayStation as of March 17th. And in the 17th, they're rolling out PvP and PvE in the 2 different game modes that exist on this one. It goes under very specific terms under it, but that's...
All right, Ubisoft. What's the catch? What's the catch?
The catch is private games and group play games and the like, group lobbies, are still to be determined. So you can randomly match up with your friends either on team or off team on PvP or PvE, but you can't yet pull the team together and play with these people specifically. Or if you're ballsy like the Dream Team is here Wednesdays on Insane Games TV, and you can be a console player and leave PC players in the mix if you feel that good. But Ubisoft making, I'm gonna count this as a positive, by the way.
No,
Uh,
no, no, that's a positive. Like a free update to a 5-year-old game. I wouldn't say I mean no strings attached because you're getting it for free, but adding crossplay to something retroactively like that without like being, oh, you have to buy it again or something. We would totally expect Ubisoft to pull something like that.
yep, yep. But this
But
time,
just
Ubisoft,
no strings attached, have crossplay, have fun. That's a win.
it's you can tell there's a lot of things going on in the world right now because last week we said something nice about EA. Now we're talking nice of Ubisoft. Like, uh, Boaterbug, it'll be a happy St. Patty's Day then. And by the way, happy Ides of March today. Oi, beware the
Ooh,
Ides of March. Um,
top of the morning to you.
so, uh, uh, looking at the time, things like that, we've got a couple more stories going on, and I'm very excited for these ones. Um, and we've got 1.5 million reasons to talk about the next company on our ticket, on our docket, and on our schedule here. It's of course Atari. No, not that one. No, not that one. Not that one. Yes, that one, the one that made the VCS, the one that had the board flip over, things like that. They recently shelled out $1.5 million to purchase the website Moby Games. Now, if for those of you who don't use Moby Games, things like that, Moby Games is a big proponent of preservation in gaming, unlike some people we talk about a lot on this channel.
Nintendo.
Thank you. Thank you. Moby Games does a lot of archiving of games, things like that. I cannot confirm or deny that they keep any of the games themselves, but they do keep dates, graphic art, information about the games, things like that. And they have been going strong for many, many years. But I know what you're thinking. Oh my God, it's an archival thing. What are they going to do about it? What are they going to mess with it? We did find out that the general manager since 2013, um, Jeremiah Freiholtz, the leader of it, the guy who formatted it, did all this work. When the site did go through some tumultuous changes of leadership and things like that, they are going to be staying on. They are going to be paid by Atari to maintain and to aim projects at furthering preservation and updating things like that. Um, it is a great resource for jacket art. Boaterbug used it when he was working gaming retail, and I know myself, I have used that one for some of the really rather obscure games that have come in that other websites that we have don't have for those things. But Atari has released information, and they are doubling down on the fact that this is not an acquisition to liquidate. This is not an acquisition to turn the site into something else as an advertisement for Atari. This is to maintain a separate presence, but it is going to benefit through ad revenues and things of that nature. It's going to have Atari VCS all over it. Hopefully, not Atari. Oh, their cryptocurrency, but
Oh.
yeah, I know. Um, but I'm excited for this, and I'm excited that Moby Games is getting tied in with something that owns the rights to the lineage of something like Atari. That just smacks of a good pairing as long as everybody keeps their hands on their own plates.
See, that's probably life-changing money for the people who run the website. They don't have to work again, honestly. Their entire job now is just making sure the site's up and running and doing its work, which is
Exactly.
honestly good because best thing for a preservation website like that needs to be able to hold and contain that much data is not having to worry about any sort of server costs, any sort of storage costs, anything. And Atari just pretty much footed the bill for all that.
Because it's not like Atari isn't also going to be using some offsite hosting on the Atari VCS. We talked about that on Nerd Glasses. Boater and I got kind of excited, and then Boater found out more about it, and we subsequently canceled our pre-order of it. We didn't pre-order it. Why the hell would we put money in it? It's fun to imagine. But every time I see headlines or things like that, I always get really worried when I see things like that. Big company acquires a resource online that everybody uses for free. Like, oh God, what's the damage now? But uh, uh, until further notice, Atari and Ubisoft getting some pats, getting some kudos,
Knock on
getting
wood.
some nice things. Yeah, definitely
Knock on
knock on
wood.
wood. Um, Speaking of people getting some kudos, now we talk a lot about Activision Blizzard on this channel. We talk a lot about Activision Blizzard and my own endeavors. We talk a lot about Overwatch and how much I want to play it and things like that. And I've got two bits of Activision Blizzard news, Sus. Which would you like to hear?
Let's
First,
talk about Overwatch.
I am super excited because recently an announcement occurred. Sus, would you like to introduce it, soft open
So
for us?
the Overwatch closed PvP beta is releasing in the very, very near future. We are going to start seeing a lot of development gameplay of Overwatch 2 to see where it's shaped up. Now, Dave, how do you feel about Overwatch 2 now that Jeff has flown the coop, seeing as that was his baby?
Um, I will always miss Papa Jeff. Um, and I'm saddened. By the way, uh, uh, Papa Jeff, for those of you who don't know, was one of the head developers, head designers, and had a development in Overwatch League. He was a huge person in all of it. And then before the Activision Blizzard controversy started occurring, one day he literally just announced that he was leaving everybody gobsmacked. And then information came out, and it was came out for that. But I miss Papa Jeff, although I'm very excited to see that Overwatch 2 is getting the to be totally honest, I'm kind of excited that Overwatch 2 is getting the beta experience. And
Yes, we
getting
finally get to see where that is.
and
Now, remember, Dave, this is going to be completely cross-compatible with Overwatch 1 for gameplay. So no one knows exactly how that's going to tie in. So we're going to be able to see how exactly that's going to work very, very soon. And with the acquisitions going through right now, I think it's actually decent timing because if Microsoft themselves wanted any changes done from the high ups, it would have probably affected Overwatch 2 first before anything else.
yes, indefinitely. The beta itself, they did announce some interesting factoids about it, a
Oh.
little bit of stuff. It is that it is going to be 5v5 as opposed to 6v6.
Oh, so your entire team composition is going to be completely different than what we're used to.
Yes. I will say, makes the tanks a little more important. Kind of excited about that. Kind of excited.
Yes, it does. No more haha funny diva hamster.
Um, It will have 4 new maps, and I am going to probably mispronounce some of these, but they announced the map and the game mode it's going to correspond with. Circuit Royale, which is going to be an escort map. Midtown, which is going to be a hybrid, as we've seen in past games. Um, new Street, which is going to be the new game mode of push, where one team is attempting to push the payload, haha, or this bot, this walled off bot towards a guide point. And Colosso, which I'm also excited about. This game, the beta is also going to have the announced and yet available to the players hero Sojourn for everyone to be able to play. Um, Stoked about all this. The signups for the beta are going on right now. Open access is not yet available, but the Overwatch League and Activision Blizzard folks who work on the game devs, things like that, are going to be getting access to it very soon, if not already have it, and are kicking the tires on it. And we can be expecting keys and access to be given out to the open beta during the month of April. You can sign up on the Overwatch 2 site. You can sign in using your Activision Blizzard account. Signing up for one is free, and you can get yourself access to that.
And I can assure everyone in chat that us at Nerd Glasses will all probably be signing up for the closed beta. So hopefully we'll see some gameplay on our channel soon.
Um, going along with that Overwatch 2 news, I will say there is a little bit of controversy with the Overwatch 2 beta being released in the fact
Yep.
that they're announcing the PvP and they're doing beta of PvP, but not a beta of the PvE. Which
See, the
was
PvE is the main selling point of Overwatch 2. That's the main. People were asking for it ever since it originally came out. They gave us little tiny dropped tidbits of it during special events. You know, like the Black Watch event,
yes.
the Omnic Rising event. Those only lasted for a short period of time. The Halloween event was really fun as like a little wave mode. But we're finally getting a full mode of that. And I'm surprised they haven't shown more of that first, seeing as it's its key selling point.
I can't understand how people aren't um, realizing exactly what you'd said there with the fact that that's kind of the reason to buy Overwatch 2 is the PvE being a prevalent part, character development, story with the
If they wanted
characters.
to just change it to 5v5, add new maps and graphically enhance the gameplay, or graphically enhance it and improve gameplay, they could have easily have done that in a large update to Overwatch 1. Unless they're like, they have to be adding a lot of extra content to warrant a new game.
I know some of the characters are going to be getting a rework. Super excited that Reinhardt is getting a rework, looking a little bit older, a little
Mm-hmm.
wiser, maybe a little bit shorter.
Are they going to make Winston useful?
I wouldn't go that far. Wouldn't go that far as to say they're going to find a purpose for Winston. Um, but this and so many things. And I do know this is actually a little bit of reporting on my part, and it's a little bit of uh, uh, speculation, but also just pointing out observations that I can't help but notice that the Twitter for the Activision Blizzard Workers Union has gone silent recently.
Oh, yeah. Let's
I
talk about that.
can't help but notice that all the people that I talk to have now suddenly stopped talking on Twitter about that subject specifically, and have closed a lot of their DMs or things like that, and things of that nature. Um, I'm viewing it as because the move to being a Microsoft company is getting closer and ever clearer. I'm viewing it as a potential positive. The evidence I have to disclose that was there was an update about our friend Bobo,
Ooh, okay.
and it is that it was stated that after the transfer of Activision Blizzard to Microsoft, that Bobby was going to stay on in a advisory role. He was going to stay as a figurehead and all these things. And
Yeah, sweet talking the fact that he's going to have to stay there for X period of time before they can actually kick him out.
they did recently change some wording on that.
Uh-oh.
And it does sound like our friend Bobonium might not have a seat at the table when this transfer takes over.
So, Dave, are you saying that soon Toys for Bob is going to be back to the name of the developing team instead of what they're actually doing?
All I'm saying is I'm hoping, I'm praying, and we'll hang on. Let's just antagonize him a little bit.
What else can I help you with?
Get the fuck out, Bobby! Nobody likes you, nobody wants you, and nobody's amused by your bullshit. Sorry, had to do it.
No, you're good. Understandable.
Speaking of nobody's amused by his BS, just as this handoff between the companies is going to be occurring, and as all the T's are being dotted and the I's are being crossed, the Fox co-founder Barry Dill, David Geffen, and Alexander von Furstenberg. I'm mispronouncing these names, and I apologize for that. But they recently got into some investigations for some
Oh.
insider trading.
Hmm.
Because these gentlemen David Geffen has publicly admitted that he is friends with our friend Bobo Kotick.
Oh boy.
Fox co-founder Barry Dell um, it was on the Coca-Cola board with Bobo, where, by the way, Bobo recently got rid of his position on the Coca-Cola board of executives
Oh.
because,
I wonder. I wonder what happened there.
and Mr. von Ferbelstobel, apologies for butchering your name, but you're a criminal scum, is recently associated with Geffen, Dell, but not necessarily Kotick, Babonium, as we call him here. But strange that they got flagged because the same week that the Activision Blizzard buyout by Microsoft was announced, that same week before the buyout was announced, these three gentlemen who had previously had a passing interest in the company, but not necessarily, decided to buy $108 million in investments in the company the
Fancy
day
that.
before it was bought.
Fancy that.
This, by the way, generating, because of the buyout with the stocks and everything going on, $60 million in profit overnight. Now, I'm not saying that they're gold diggers, but I am saying that this is further evidence, because this is going to court and they are being investigated, that trio of crackerjack gentlemen. This is further evidence in the why do you still have Bobby Kotick on your board? These people are linked with him, and they are. This also kind of wild speculation on my part, but pew 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 also goes along with all of the lawsuits that the members and share owners have been filing against the board. Talking about generating in bad faith and things like that, and some of the wording and some of the legal documents makes a little more sense when the people who have been on the board or owning stock for a couple of years now with the ins and outs of the company, suddenly these people come in, strong arm a lot of money, and make a ton more profit, and then kind of seem to have gotten some inside information.
Well, we went from talking about one clown to his entire circus.
It's all interesting, and it all points to the fact that, you know who doesn't like chicanery and shenanigans of this sort of variety? Microsoft. And they're going to have the keys, and I will not be surprised if our good friend Bobo leaves the office one day and comes back and, wouldn't you know it, the lights are off and the locks are changed on him.
Yeah, that's what you get, Bobby, for trying to take as much money as you could before you were abandoned.
I'm looking at the time here. It is 9 o'clock. It is our usual stop time for the program. But Sus, anything to add on the Activision Blizzard news, the lawsuits, the investigation, or the Overwatch 2 beta?
No, I think we've covered pretty much everything worth talking about at this point.
We are super excited to be broadcasting with you here on Insane Games TV. Make sure to hit that follow button. Join the discussion in the Discord down below. Discuss the topics with us. There are going to be a couple topics that we didn't get to today that I'm going to be posting in the tabled topics. And as always, and with so many of these things, Sus, thank you so much for joining me and co-hosting today.
Thank you so much for inviting me. It was fun.
I'm really grateful that over the years that we can brag about this, years that Boder and I have been doing Nerd Glasses. If I fall in ill health, if Boder gets sick, if conflicting issues, things like that happen, we have such awesome friends, compatriots, and things like that that are able to help not only fill in but bring a new dimension to this program that we are so excited to have. So again, truly from the bottom of my heart, Twitch.tv's own Sustainna. Please make sure to check him out and all his endeavors going on. You will see him again tomorrow here on Insane Games TV, as he is one of the leaders of the Dream Memers and the Mario Kart League is going to be a kickstarting. Myself and our producer here on Nerd Glasses, Steve, are going to be winning this year as part of Team Symphonic. Wah!
I don't know, Steve. You're gonna have to take that crown from me. You were close.
The face he's making right now.
You were close, Steve. You and me. Come on.
This is going to be so much fun, and there's so much more streaming for you to take in. Join us here live on Insane Games TV.
1v1 me.
1v1 at Baby
you
Park.
And me, 1v1.
Let's go.
10 laps at Baby Park.
So, much love to you, Boater, and we will look forward to seeing you back in the studio tomorrow. I am really excited to be saying that once we go offline, we'll be offline for about 5 minutes, setting up the tables, moving things around, and then I have the distinctive pleasure of attempting to do a Citadel broadcast. I did bring something Citadel-esque, something of the caliber of games that are not fantastic, but not bad. They're fun, they're playable, they've got something going on. That, of course, being SDG Generation Genesis and nothing else. And I'm
Gundam!
I love that everyone else is allowed to talk about it, but I am not. But for all of us here on the Nerd Glasses podcast, I have been Dave Mann.
Sustainna.
And thank you very much, Steve. Much love to you, Boater. We will see you guys next time. Much love to you all.